O Captain, My Captain by Walt Whitman. O Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done. The ship has weathered every wrack. The prize we sought is won. The port is near, the bells I hear, the people all exulting, while follow eyes the steady keel, the vessel grim and daring. But oh heart, 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 oh the bleeding drops of red, where on the deck my captain lies, fallen, cold and dead. O Captain, my Captain, rise up and hear the bells. Rise up, for you the flag is flung, for you the bugle trills, for you bouquets and ribboned wreaths, for you the shores are crowding, for you they call, the swaying mass, their eager faces turning. Here, Captain, dear father, this arm beneath your head. It is some dream that on the deck you've fallen cold and dead. My captain does not answer. His lips are pale and still. My father does not feel my arm. He has no pulse nor will. The ship is anchored, safe and sound, its voyage closed and done. From fearful trip, the victor ship comes in with object won. Exult, O shores, and ring, O bells, but I, with mournful tread, walk the deck. My captain lies, fallen, cold, and dead. And of course, that was a poem that Whitman wrote about the death of Abraham Lincoln, the US president, uh, right after the Civil War, when the country was rejoicing. Walt Whitman's Suite. 1. I came to find my brother. I traveled to the front to find my brother. I found an army of brothers, in truth, 2 armies of brothers, for our enemy, broken and dislimbed boys, we also cared for. I clean and dress their wounds, the many balls, devastation to a shoulder, or the stub of a leg. Boys, I know you well. I find me in you, brother of Rochester, Passaic, Missouri, Georgia, in torment, the moon vague behind dark clouds. Oh, such a night to dance with your love. Here, time and reverie bloat like a corpse. Peace becomes a limb severed by the surgeon. You lie in our nation's capital on rotten straw. You beg me for water in the monument's shadow, in Judiciary Square, below the scales of justice, weighing your lives, weighing what I am to you. I wet your lips with a sponge, your quizzical look, as you wonder who I am while the shock of death and degradation creep closer. Boy, I will write to your mother. At last light, I will close your eyes. 2. Washington at war. I often see the president, his brown donut complexion, the deep etched lines that reflect the dead piled up from this war, corpses floating down river, lost in gullies, in cold unknown graves all across our nation, ragged corpses, bleached bones, tarnished brass, rictus of grinning teeth. My lodging house on Pennsylvania Avenue smells bad, aroma of cabbage from the Irish woman's quarters below. I lingered by the bed of a Georgia boy this morning, shot through the lung. Death soothed his brow. I held his hot, soft hand tenderly for an hour. At his request, read to him about resurrection. Now the war is over. The victorious Blue Army marches down the wide boulevards. The president removes his hat in respect to the thousands of troops who parade with battle-worn uniforms, brass bands, fifes, drums, their regimental flags, tattered memorials to the dead, each ensign a beautiful woman, heartbroken by battle. 3. Wheeling the prophet to the river. In his wide-brimmed hat and rambling beard, Mr. Whitman revels to be out in his cane chair, headed for Camden Wharf, if aging, recovering from stroke. I push him over the uneven brick sidewalk, rimed with frost. Our breath starts ahead of us. It's an effort for him as much as for me. His thin legs jiggle dance under the plaid blanket. Soon we are overlooking the Delaware. A ripe smell of sawn pine suffuses our nostrils. He says, "Breathe the air, devour the river air." Walt Whitman, I nurse you now as you nursed others. He mumbles an oft-told memory of his youth. A wonderful story, sir. He wafts his hat to a baritone sawmill worker who calls, "Sing, prophet, we long for song." Ebb Tide, and a quote from Whitman's Crossing Brooklyn Ferry. Flow on, river, flow with the flood tide, and ebb with the ebb tide. Cross from shore to shore, countless crowds of passengers stand up tall masts of Mannahatta. 1. Cradled by the music of the river, New York citified, yet never civilized. Packed bodies jostle in the subway train. The lights of the tunnel hypnotize me as they flash past. A girl in a red dress bobs her head, listening to Lou Reed in her silver earphones. A black man with a gold crucifix dangling from his ear mouths a mantra. 2. Once our love was as strong as the steel cables of the Brooklyn Bridge, the twin towers of granite. I brought you breakfast from the corner deli. Demetrios sold me 2 lattes and a bag of sugar donuts. The hustler at the corner of 44th eyed me as I bundled past. Steam rose from the manhole on 8th. My play was unfinished, our dialogue partly written. We spoke in aphorisms. 3. We lunched with the ginger-haired producer at the plaza, who had eyes for only you, as we discussed my play. He wore classical cameos as cufflinks, fingernails polished and long. He spoke of stock options and a night at the theatre. We drank our martinis, and I thought of silver bullets, powdered monk's hood, to mix in his portobello mushrooms. As we emerged onto the street, a rabbi blew into a shofar, the sound of the ram's horn mixing with the horns of the cabs. A smatter of sleet greased the road in a rainbow blur. 4. It was, as you predicted, an awesome theatre. We met the actors in their dressing rooms, odor of grease paint and hairspray. A lipstick smudged Kleenex reflected in a mirror. I felt your warm touch through your purpled gloves. I knew the dialogue needed rewriting. The city's lights glimmered in the East River. The wind sang in the cables of the bridge. We felt snow on our cheeks on the penthouse balcony. We kissed and drank hot cocoa, watching a police helicopter. Turning from me, you said, "I'm going to take a shower to make myself beautiful like diced onions." Thanks, everyone.